Welcome to Infinite Book Journeys, where we explore the hidden corners of the human mind and the books that explain them. Have you ever wondered why we make irrational decisions, even when we believe we are acting with perfect logic and reason? Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman revealed that our minds are not always the reliable narrators of reality that we think they are. He described two systems driving us, the fast, instinctive System 1 and the slower, more logical, but lazy System 2. Most of the time, we operate on autopilot using System 1, which leaves us vulnerable to specific errors called cognitive biases. Today, we will navigate through the first 10 mental traps that distort your perception, judgment, and ability to make good choices. Prepare to challenge your own brain as we uncover the invisible scripts that dictate your life, starting with cognitive dissonance. Imagine a smoker who knows perfectly well that smoking is deadly, yet continues to buy a pack every single day. This creates a state of mental discomfort known as cognitive dissonance, the tension between what we believe and what we do. To eliminate this pain, the mind invents a comforting lie, convincing itself that the bad habit is actually necessary for survival. This is the classic sour grapes fable. When we cannot reach the goal, we simply tell ourselves the goal was worthless. We protect our ego by changing our narrative rather than changing our behavior. Because facing the truth is often too painful, the brain seeks consistency above truth. Yet it will twist reality until the internal discomfort disappears, leaving you in a comfortable illusion. We justify expensive purchases or bad relationships just to avoid admitting that we made a terrible mistake in the first place. Recognizing this bias requires the courage to admit when we are wrong, instead of doubling down on our past errors. Now, step into the light. The second trap is the spotlight effect, the false belief that everyone is watching you closely. You spill a drop of coffee on your shirt, you feel certain that every person in the room is judging your clumsiness. In reality, nobody noticed. Everyone else is too busy worrying about their own imaginary spotlights to pay attention to your flaws. We are the center of our own universe, so we naturally assume we are the center of everyone else's universe too. This egocentric bias causes unnecessary social anxiety and prevents us from taking risks because we fear a judgment that doesn't exist. Studies show that even when people wear embarrassing clothes, far fewer strangers notice than the wearer predicts in their anxious mind. Remembering the spotlight effect can be liberating. It grants you the freedom to be yourself, knowing the world isn't really watching. The third bias weighs us down like heavy iron. It is the anchoring effect, where the first piece of information controls us. When you see a shirt marked down from $1,000 to $500, your brain thinks it is a great bargain. But if you saw the price as $500 initially, you would think it was expensive. The first number anchored your perception. This is why negotiation experts suggest making the first offer. Yet you set the anchor that all subsequent numbers must adjust around. Our minds rely too heavily on the first piece of data we receive, even if that data is completely irrelevant or arbitrary. Studies have shown that even judges can be influenced by random numbers when determining sentences, proving how deep this bias runs. To defeat the anchor, you must reject the initial premise and do your own independent research before entering any negotiation. Closely related to anchoring is our fourth trap, the halo effect. This is where one positive trait outshines all other characteristics. If a person is physically attractive, we subconsciously assume they are also smart, kind, and competent. Without any evidence at all, the halo of their good looks blinds us to their actual flaws. Yet we let our overall impression dictate our specific judgments. This happens with companies too. If a firm is profitable, we assume its culture is great and its leader is a visionary. Conversely, the horn effect means if someone looks sloppy, we assume they are lazy or unintelligent, often missing out on hidden talent. In romance, the halo effect is why the early stages of love feel so perfect. We simply ignore the red flags. Eventually, the halo fades. But understanding this effect helps us evaluate people based on their actions, not just their shiny presentation. Now we enter the casino of the mind for the fifth bias. The gambler's fallacy, a dangerous misunderstanding of probability and chance. The wheel has landed on red 5 times in a row. You feel certain that black must be next. It is due. But the universe has no memory. Yet the wheel does not know it spun red before. Each spin is an independent event. We struggle to accept true randomness. We crave patterns where there are none, believing that nature will naturally balance itself out quickly. Investors lose fortunes thinking a stock has fallen so much it must go up. But the market, like the coin, is indifferent. Even parents fall for this, believing that after 3 boys they are statistically guaranteed to have a girl. Biology promises no such thing. To think clearly, you must treat every random event as a fresh start, disconnected from the history that came before it. Our 6th trap is perhaps the most dangerous in the modern world. Confirmation bias. The mother of all misconceptions. We do not see the world as it is. We see it as we are. We crave information that confirms our existing beliefs. So if you believe a conspiracy theory, you will find patterns in random noise. You will ignore mountains of evidence that prove you wrong. Social media algorithms amplify this by feeding us only what we want to hear, creating echo chambers that radicalize our thinking. This bias explains why political debates rarely change anyone's mind. We interpret the same facts differently to fit our pre-written stories. The only way to fight confirmation bias is to actively seek out evidence that contradicts your views, as painful as that feels. True intelligence is not about knowing everything, but about being able to change your mind when presented with new conflicting facts. Finally, we arrive at the 7th trap, the paradox of choice. We assume that more options mean more freedom and happiness. But studies show that when faced with 24 jams, people buy less than when faced with only 6. The abundance paralyzes us. We spend more time choosing what to watch on Netflix than actually watching the movie. The fear of making the wrong choice haunts us. Even after choosing, we are less satisfied because we imagine the other options might have been better. Opportunity cost steals our joy. This is why the best restaurants often have small menus. They remove the burden of choice, allowing you to simply enjoy the experience. To be happier, we must learn to satisfy rather than maximize. Pick the good enough option and don't look back. Cognitive dissonance. Spotlight effect, anchoring, halo effect, gambler's fallacy, confirmation bias, and the paradox of choice. These are your brain's hidden scripts. By naming these biases, we take the first step in conquering them. We move from the autopilot of System 1 to System 2. Awareness is your weapon. The next time you feel certain, pause. Ask yourself, is this reality or is this just a mental trap? Slow down your thinking. Question your first impressions. Be willing to be wrong. That is the path to true rationality and wisdom. This was only the beginning. There are many more flaws in our operating system that we must explore in our next journey. Thank you for watching Infinite Book Journeys. Subscribe now to uncover more secrets of the mind in Part 2 coming soon. Keep reading, keep thinking, and never stop questioning the world inside your head. See you in the next chapter. Let's revisit the anchoring effect. Imagine buying insurance. At the first premium quote you see will dictate how you feel about all others. Smart travelers know to ignore the original price struck through in red. They look at the final value, not the manipulated discount. To fight the halo effect in hiring, companies use structured interviews. They score skills individually to avoid being blinded by a charming smile. The gambler's fallacy is defeated by large numbers. Over time, luck evens out, but in the short term, anything can happen. To cure confirmation bias, try arguing against yourself. Attempt to prove your own beliefs wrong with the same passion you use to defend them. Reduce the paradox of choice by artificially limiting your options. Set rules. I only buy books from this one specific list. Gratitude is the antidote to regret. By focusing on the value of what you chose, yet you silence the voice of what if. Building these mental habits takes effort. System 2 is lazy and consumes energy. It prefers to sleep while System 1 drives. The simple act of pausing is your greatest tool. That 3-second gap between stimulus and response is where your freedom lies. We strive for rationality, but we must accept our biology. We are not computers. We are emotional creatures trying to be logical. Understanding these biases does not make you immune to them. It simply gives you a flashlight to see the stumbling blocks ahead. It is often easier to spot these errors in others than in ourselves. Listen to friends who challenge your views. They are valuable. Imagine if everyone in this city paused to think clearly. How many arguments, bad purchases, and regrets could be avoided every day? Kahneman's work changed economics and psychology forever because he proved that human error is systematic, predictable, and therefore preventable. Let us briefly touch on another trap, the sunk cost fallacy. We cling to bad investments simply because we have already paid for them. Rationality dictates that past costs are gone. Only future happiness matters. Stop eating the bad food. The money is already lost. Walking away is not failure. Often it is the most rational choice you can make. Do not let the past hold the future hostage. Consider the framing effect. You buy yogurt labeled 90% fat-free, but you would avoid it if it was labeled 10% fat. It is the exact same information, but the frame changes the emotional response. Words matter. The packaging of the truth changes the perception. As always, ask yourself, who is framing this information? What are they leaving out of the picture to influence my decision? The availability heuristic makes us fear plane crashes more than car accidents, simply because plane crashes are more dramatic and memorable. We judge the probability of an event by how easily we can recall examples of it, not by the actual statistical data. Dramatic events stick in our memory, warping our risk assessment. We worry about terrorism while ignoring heart disease, the silent killer. The library of the mind is vast. Kahneman is just one guide. There are many others who have mapped these treacherous waters. These biases are not bugs. They are features. They helped our ancestors survive in the wild where speed was more important than accuracy. If you heard a rustle in the grass, the paranoid caveman ran and survived. The logical caveman stayed to check and was eaten. We are running ancient software in a modern world. Our brains are wired for the savannah, not for the stock market or Instagram. To navigate the modern world, we must train ourselves to override these ancient instincts. We must cultivate the art of thinking slow. Consider the negativity bias. You can receive 10 compliments and 1 insult. You will go to sleep thinking only about the insult. Bad is stronger than good. Our brains prioritize negative information because avoiding danger was historically more critical than finding pleasure. We must actively practice optimism to counterbalance this biological tilt. We have to hunt for the good, while the bad hunts us. The self-serving bias protects our ego. When we succeed, it is talent. When we fail, it is bad luck or someone else's fault. True leaders overcome this. They look in the mirror when things go wrong and look out the window to credit others when things go right. When others are late, we think they are lazy. When we are late, we blame the traffic. This is the fundamental attribution error. We judge others by their character, but we judge ourselves by our circumstances. Extending empathy to others bridges this gap in perception. We have covered a lot of ground, from the pain of dissonance to the arrogance of the halo. Our minds are tricky machines. Remember the smoker rationalizing his habit? Remember the girl terrified of the spotlight? These are not just stories. They are reflections of us. We fall for the first price we see when we trust the pretty face. So we are constantly being anchored and blinded by halos. We bet on patterns that don't exist. We lock ourselves in rooms where everyone agrees with us, deaf to the complexity of the truth. And we torture ourselves with too many choices, forgetting that happiness is often found in simplicity and being content with good enough. At Infinite Book Journeys, our mission is to chip away the stone of ignorance to reveal the sculpture of wisdom hidden inside. Reading is the best exercise for System 2. It forces you to slow down, focus, and engage with complex ideas deeply. If you haven't read Thinking Fast and Slow, consider this your invitation. It is a dense book, but it is worth the effort. Every time you catch yourself in a bias, you are rewiring your brain. You are becoming less of a machine and more of a human. Clarity is the ultimate goal, to see the world as it is, not as our fears or desires wish it to be. We have only scratched the surface. The human mind is an infinite landscape of mysteries waiting to be explored in future episodes. In Part 2, we will discuss why you overvalue things you own and why you believe you knew the outcome of events all along. If you found value in this video, please press the like button. It helps the algorithm find other curious minds like yours. I leave you with this thought. Nothing in life is as important as you think it is while you are thinking about it. Thank you for spending your most valuable resource, your time, with us today. We do not take your attention for granted. Time is the only thing we cannot get back. Use it wisely. Think slowly. Act deliberately. And live your life with open eyes. The journey of self-discovery is long, but every step makes the path clearer. You are now 10 steps further than you were before. Knowledge organizes the chaos of the world. Let these concepts settle in your mind. Discuss them with friends. Test them in reality. Which of these 10 biases do you struggle with the most? I read every comment, so please share your story below. Your experiences help others learn. We are building a community of critical thinkers here, and your voice is a vital part of it. As we close this chapter, carry these tools with you. Use them to make better decisions in your career, relationships, and life. The mind is a beautiful instrument, but like any instrument, it needs tuning. Today, we tuned it together. Stay sharp, my friends. This video was crafted with passion and precision. Now, we hope it sparks a light in your day and a question in your mind. Like this candle, may your reason burn bright against the winds of confusion and bias. Keep the flame alive until we meet again. We are stardust, contemplating stardust. The universe is vast, but the universe inside your head is just as infinite and wondrous. This has been a production of Infinite Book Journeys, dedicated to the seekers, the learners, and the thinkers of the world. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you don't miss part 2. It will challenge everything you think you know about memory. Thank you for watching. Keep turning the pages of your mind. This is Infinite Book Journeys signing off. Goodbye for now. Thank you for watching Infinite Book Journeys. Subscribe now to uncover more secrets of the mind in part 2, coming soon.